Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the latest instalment of the 304 podcast. On this instalment, we're in conversation with David and Shaun from the 304 clothing team, Debbie from Achieve Change, and our very special guest, Alex Staniforth. Alex is the author of 2 books titled Icefall, the true story of a teenager on a mission to the top of the world, and Another Peak. Today we'll be discussing mental health and sharing experiences. Alex has faced many challenges in his lifetime and opens up to the group about his experiences and battles with his own mental health well-being. Now let's get straight into part 2, where Alex and the group discuss mental health awareness and their personal experiences.
So Alex, you, I mentioned right at the beginning, you are a director of a social enterprise called Mind Over Mountains. I know you've been blogging about it recently. I've seen articles on LinkedIn where you're sharing it and some pictures. Just talk to me a little bit about how this came about and what's happened so far.
So Mind Over Mountains is a new project, very, very new, and it's literally just myself and my coach Chris as a director. So it's a pretty small team with a core team of mountain leaders, a counsellor, mindfulness coaches, just to really support our work, who really believe in our ethos. And essentially, we're hearing so much about mental health and people talking about it, but we really feel now that it's about actually making, it's about taking action, actually making a real intervention. Because talking about it's great, but actually we need to actually change the habits and the mindsets of millions if we want to really change the outcomes around mental health. So I've always found that for me the outdoor challenges have been a fantastic way to overcome my own personal challenges through building that resilience to everyday life, to learning better coping strategies. And I think it's so much more than just the fresh air and the endorphins. It's about the whole holistic experience. And so Mind Over Mountains is essentially, we provide events in the hills. So far they've been all based in the Lake District, where I actually moved myself earlier in March this year. But combining so much more than just hill walking, we have NLP coaching, we have mindfulness sessions, we have inspirational speakers to actually share the first-hand stories that we can actually relate to. And also then you've got the physical challenge of climbing mountains and stretching our comfort zones and just building that sense of achievement. So combined together, we really know that it's not a cure for mental ill health, but we're bringing together people that might need that experience, might need that bit of a boost to do something they haven't done before. And we really think that we can provide an intervention that will really help people to maintain their mental health. Also in businesses, we're hearing so much around, businesses struggling with staff being off ill, because of mental health, and we want to help them to actually address that by teaching them new self-help skills through the outdoors. And so far we've had an amazing response, really excited, and we really want to get as many events going as we can across the UK.
That's great, thanks. And we've talked at length really about how people get the opportunity to speak up, where they might start, who they entrust. Is there something within the Mind Over Mountains about being able to share things openly with people, about building some sort of tribe that people can still have this support after they've done this experience?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned before that speaking online has always been easy for me because it takes the emotion away from it. But I think when you're walking in the hills, something about it that makes it so much easier to talk about it than we might find in a one-to-one, face-to-face interaction. Because perhaps we're focusing on something else, we're not making eye contact as we're walking, we're in a different environment. But what we really want to create is this sort of safe space of like-minded people, because we all have our own challenges. And it shows that it affects people of all ages all around the UK, and we had a really diverse group on our last event in August. And essentially it's a place where we're not going to be judged, where people understand each other. And absolutely, I mean, we do find that with the coaching support on hand, that people are able to really share their story so far and really think about that in a positive way. And we are looking at how we can kind of build that community, that kind of aftercare, because it takes more than a weekend to solve these things. But I think that one experience can be life-changing, as it was for me in the Lake District when I was 14, when I decided that one day I was gonna try Everest, as you do at 14. And it's helping people find their Everest, and just, I think, as we mentioned before, letting them get away from the stresses of our modern lives, it's no wonder that we're suffering with our mental health when we're in this artificial world, constantly subscribed, and not having this time to switch off and just be in the moment. And our venue, Skiddaw House, has no phone signal. We're 3 miles off the nearest road, and it's one of the rare places where we can actually go to completely get off grid.
Do you find that people you're speaking to want to come on the events with you? Are they sort of younger people who are struggling maybe with work commitments or the stresses of targets within the work, or a pressurised workplace, which is then, because I know for a fact that I know people and who work in corporate businesses where there is that pressure and there's no escape, and I think these sort of feelings that people have are much more common now, and I'm just wondering, do you meet a lot more of these people now on these events?
Well, we've only done 2, and I think it's still very early days, but definitely I expect we'll get people like that, and I really hope we do get more of the kind of the kind of younger mindsets of millennials, because of that pressure, and essentially that whole sense of going off to do a course or kind of start a degree and then realising it's not for them, and then feeling lost. And I know so many people my age that are in that same lost position in the world, that I think we will get more of that. But we've had people in their 70s on events, still fighting fit, still enjoying the hills. We've had people similar age to myself. It's open for anybody really, but we haven't really had that much engagement from young people. I don't know why that is. I think perhaps because they're going on to online instead. I can only hazard a guess, but I really want to help them to build that resilience that I don't think is being built anymore.
I think this is what we want to do as well. If there are young people out there who are experiencing this, and you're saying you don't really get much engagement from them, maybe it is because they're not talking about it, or they're not opening up about it. So again, that's something that we're trying to do with this campaign, is to help people open up and talk about it.
I feel comfortable about saying it, because like the one slogan and the whole campaign is called Perfectly Imperfect, and the slogan's on the t-shirt because we want people to wear it and be okay with not being perfect as such, as there's no such thing. So just even if it's a small step by wearing a t-shirt that says I'm perfectly imperfect, that might be the first step for someone to go, actually now it's time to take action against trying to sort my demons out, or whether it's the first step being on a retreat with yourself on Mind Over Mountains. These things are just, that first step is always the hardest, isn't it? And
even if someone asked you, what does that say on your top, what does that mean?
Yeah,
it's like trigger something to spark the conversation.
That's it. So it's one of the first ever things 3 or 4 did like 6-7 years ago, was a slogan. We put that on a t-shirt, and we didn't think maybe 7 years ago this was going to come full circle and people were going to be talking about it now. We were going to be talking about it, and we sort of, this is fate that slogan's come back around. I don't know, but
I've still got my sweatshirt, boys. It was very well made.
There you
go,
vintage. Get that on eBay.
Yeah, I think it's a great slogan. I think it is accepting our flaws, accepting us.
Yeah.
Well, our so-called flaws, accepting that we're all human, and what we perceive online often isn't the reality. And I think that once we can let go of that, we can really find our true purpose, our true selves, and that's, I think, is absolutely key. Otherwise, we're always going to be codependent on other people.
Yeah.
It's that balance of normal, isn't it? I mean, what is normal?
I'm definitely not normal.
No, well, what is that? What is normal? Because it's about your personal normal and what your new normal is. And I talk quite a lot with people that are planning on retiring, and I'm saying, well, this is today's normal. What's your new normal going to be in retirement? It's different, but you'll just level out at some point. And you were talking before, I know Mind Over Mountains is a community interest company, and for me, community says everything. It's a community that help each other, it's a community that share experiences, and it's a community that work together to bring about change. I feel like a politician, where did that come from? But I don't know what your thinking is of having it as a community interest company, but it just sparked something inside of me when I read that.
To be honest, we are looking to have it as a charity. I think just starting off as a project, community interest company, when was the kind of the quickest way to get the ball rolling for us and to do an event this year. but it's a project ran just said really by myself and Chris. So we have our day jobs. For me, keynote speaking to businesses and to schools around the UK is the bulk of what I do, and I love doing. And the writing as well is obviously a big part of my time. So we haven't had the time to form it as a charity yet. But really, our aim is just to create that community in any way we can, which is just really providing something that I think is such the most underused tool for mental health out there. We're always looking for that quick fix, and I think we just need to take things back to basics.
I think that's where, obviously there's a synergy between 304 and Mind Over Mountains, that we've been going for 7 years now, and we've built a following, a fan base, customer base and stuff that it is a community. We've got people ordering today that have ordered 7 years ago, and the brand has changed so much, but what we stand for and what we want to stand for in the future hasn't. We're 304. We want to help people. We want everyone to feel included. We're not a certain type of clothing brand where you can't buy it because you like this, or you can't buy it because you don't like that. We try and not cater for everyone, but everyone's welcome, and that's I see a real synergy between the two businesses and brands.
So to raise awareness for mental health, 304 Clothing have launched a unisex, gender-neutral range consisting of hoodies and t-shirts to give you, our customer base, the perfect opportunity to wear the slogan with pride, perfectly imperfect. Colours ranging from the core offering of black, grey and navy, but also 304 have introduced a vibrant yellow to symbolise the Say Hello to Yellow campaign and mental health awareness hashtag, and it is definitely one of our personal favourites. So there are two main colour schemes available, one being bright multicoloured and the second being a more neutral tones for the older consumer. The main focus of the design is the holographic smiling globe. This is to symbolise that when people shine a light on you, you reflect light right back, and that everybody needs support from other people to be the best version of themselves. The smiling face sits on top of the globe to show that we are all the same, no matter where we are from or what we are going through. We are all humans. The slogan, perfectly imperfect, slots into the design using multicoloured, staggered lettering to symbolise that even the written text isn't perfect, as you are taught to believe, and that we all need to be okay with being imperfect. The final element of the design is the second slogan, strive for progress, not perfection. This really does speak for itself. Life is all about progress and overcoming whatever the day, week or month throws at you, and that there is no completion button in life, and that we are all here to do the best we can and not compare to what other people deem to be perfection. This range is limited edition, so if you're interested, please visit 304 Clothing today to be sure not to miss out and support this amazing cause. Now let's get back to the interview.
Sense of value and sense of importance starts at home. So at Team 304, you're keen to talk about mental well-being. What is it that you guys do to promote mental well-being within Team 304?
With the actual staff base all being predominantly friends from university, school and stuff, our community is tight. Our friendship, our staff, we're invested in the business from word go. I mean, Shaun sitting here with me, I met at university 7 years ago. 7 years? No, 8 years. Yeah, sorry.
Much more than that.
Taking a few years off there. 10 years ago, actually. Shaun, my business partner at university and stuff, and we're always socialising. We're doing things inside of work, outside of work. It's I think we all lean on each other. We're friends first.
Yeah, and I think as well, like just little things. Sort of when we're in the Birmingham office, we've got the ping pong table. If you need a break, if you're stressed with work, whatever, we've got some bad news on the day, it's let's take a break, let's play a game of ping pong, and let's try and take our minds off it for a bit.
We're predominantly a brand. We're not, if things aren't going well with a business selling t-shirts or sales aren't too good or something, it's not the be all and end all. It's not money focused for us. created a business, and especially myself and Shaun, we've got our friends working with us, not because they're our friends, but because we wanted that lifestyle, and we wanted us all to be together, and it, to feel like it might only be 7 or 8 of us, but it's a small community, and we all support each other. And yeah, that's sort of the main internal goal, that we want to branch out to our customer base and beyond, followers.
And I believe this week you've got 2 of that vital team off. How are you coping with 2 men down?
Me and David have been supporting each other a lot this week.
Yeah. Lots of man hugs and stuff like that. We're a team, so we're all working together. Obviously, we've got 2 people on holiday this week, so we're all working that little bit harder. But like you said, we're a team, so we all support each other.
I think when it comes back to it as well, when we're talking about just opening up and talking about how you're feeling, sometimes if you're working from home on your own, it's been a few days and you feel like you haven't spoken to anyone, like you'll text me saying give us a ring if you need to speak. Just chat through, and it's just little things like that to support each other.
I mean, when I started working at home 6 years ago, I was the first one to do working from home, which seemed glamorous, but it's really, really difficult. You find yourself falling into real dark holes, staring at walls and all sorts. And now I know that because we have the 2 offices and Shaun's not here, so Shaun's on his own, he's working at home, I just know sometimes you can be staring at, you haven't spoke to someone in 6 hours, and it's not natural. It's not a natural thing to not engage with people or speak, even if it is on the phone for 5 minutes, have a laugh about something, put the phone down, you refocused, you feel good about yourself again, and you sort of reset, don't you? Yeah,
you can easily go into a position where all of a sudden you haven't spoke to anyone, but when there are people there to speak to, you don't want to speak to them. it's it's just how it happens. So it is. We try and support each other, don't we?
Yeah.
Make sure there's plenty of calls.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like I said, we're all friends first. So if anyone needs anything, we're there to help each other out, aren't we? So yeah.
And so you're trying to kind of get that same ethos, like in all, kind of in your wider, this whole kind of, this ethos of helping each other and just providing that open, supportive space, I think is key. I think not just in businesses, but just in all, in everybody around us, knowing that there's always people there to speak to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can completely relate to that. I mean, my office is my flat,
Yeah.
But for me, getting outside and running is my escape for that. But as long as we have those ways to de-stress, so we're not bouncing from maximum stress all the time and having that. I know how much better I feel after a chat to a coach or a mentor, and it's great that you have that ethos as well.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think another thing what helps as well, if I'll cycle to this train station before I get to work go to Manchester for work. I think just something like that can really help your mindset at the start of a day.
Small steps.
And at the end of a day as well. So just little things like that really help as well. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's something I've started doing now, because if you wake up, get straight in the car, drive to the office, sit down all day, back in the car, straight home, the lack of actual physical movement and exercise and being on my feet for maybe 200 steps a day, I don't feel good about it. So the cycling after work, going to the gym in the middle of the day, trying to cycle maybe in the morning as well, or whatever you do, no matter how much time you've got, it definitely helps.
And I think, David, what you said for me is whatever you do, because that is different for every single person, whatever it is that they want to de-stress, however long they can go before they need to stop. Whether it's coffee, whether it's walking to the block, whether it's just sitting and having a chat with somebody, that can be a stress, or a de-stress, or a workout in the gym can be a de-stress. And the thing observing, because I work with you guys, that I see you do, is you listen to each other, you listen to each other without judgment, you support each other in the things that are important to them, and because you are supported as individuals in what you want to do within life, then when you come together to work as a team, as a company, it works really well, because you've got that whole mutual respect and listening. And that is what brings 304 together in times where you've got 2 people off, because you can't do everything, can you? Because there ain't enough hours in the day. So there's that whole understanding of what gets done, how it gets done, and everybody's giving their all.
Yep.
So big question then, 304 and Mind Over Mountains. What is that going to bring for your 2 groups of followers?
Well, we're planning on doing something, working together in the future. It just needs to be bit more discussions on Alex, but yeah, we're really keen to help them. We think it's a great cause, so yeah, it's definitely something we'll be working together in the future.
Yeah, again, we're such a new project that we really want to form partnerships with organisations and individuals and charities, and just anybody who shares our ethos. I think who has that sense of wanting to support each other and build that team. So yeah, we're going to be doing lots more events around the UK, challenging people of all ages. So really excited to form a partnership, and from here moving forwards. I mean, at the moment, I've got the challenge of my mountain is trying to set up the events with my day job and running everything else going on, but it's a passion project, and having the right people behind it is really exciting. So we're really looking forward to doing an event with you next year, hopefully, as well, and just trying to support each other whenever we can.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
I cannot resist another passion project, Alex. How on earth are you going to bring balance to your life when you've got all these passion projects? What have you learnt?
Clearly nothing. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of ironic almost that sometimes it doesn't kind of. I was saying this to Chris the other day, and also when it came to actually writing the book, that took the best part of last year, and so fortunate to have the opportunity to have a publisher, to have an agent who really supported it, and I made it possible. And the feedback I get from the book, from the speaking, is what keeps me going. It's what's the best job satisfaction I could get. But at the times I was questioning, I'm actually compromising my own mental health here in the process of the long hours, and so I need to find that balance, because we can't help other people unless we help ourselves. But no, on the whole, it's all good, and it's just another way for me of making the biggest difference I can, and it's just trying to focus. I think focus is the key, so that I can make the biggest impact in the biggest place, rather than spreading myself too thin in this big world of opportunity.
So Alex, just to finish off then, if there was just one thing, you could try and just nail it down to one thing that you would want people to take away from what we've been talking about, what would that be?
Very difficult when there's so much I could say, but I would have to, I think innocently bring it back to the book, is that there is always another peak, and I think no matter what I've been through in my life, and many people have been through worse, it's all relative to our own challenges. That no matter how bad things get, when we lose hope, there is always another peak. There's always another summit to reach, and even if we can't see the top, it's always worth the climb. So I think that would be my closing message, really, and just if anybody does want to read more, for more inspiration about the Mind Over Mountains project, just visit our website, which is mindovermountains.org.uk. And again, all my own adventures and challenges in the future will be on my website, alexstaniforth.com, and my social media channels are all on there as well. But no, it's been really good to have a chance to talk. Thank you for having me on, guys, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much, Alex.
We really appreciate it, mate, and we'll make sure we get you tagged on your website across our social media channels as well. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming in.
And now I can say I've been there and got the t-shirt.
We're out. Over. Mic drop.
I've done this too much.
Just want to say a huge thank you for everyone who's listened. You'll be able to catch this podcast on all podcast providers. It will be on Spotify, iTunes, and it'll also be on our YouTube channel, Channel 304. If you could like, comment, share, so everyone else can listen to this podcast. If anyone out there wants to actually speak to anyone at 304 or Alex, then drop us an email on help@304clothing.com. All Alex's links, all our links will be in the information descriptions below to make it easy for you guys. And yeah, thanks very much again. Stay tuned for the next one.